Let's talk about Tom Brady Sr. and Alex Guerrero's comments heading into the Bucs and the Pats game.
Okay, so I'd like to comment first, not to cut you off, JD, but I got to leave for an appointment. But
Ross has been waiting for this forever.
Go for it. Go for it, bro.
Ross, hold on. So for those of you who don't know, Tom Brady Sr. and Alex Guerrero both made comments towards the Brady return to Foxborough, and they weren't too good. They weren't too.
Tommy, this is what Tom Brady Sr. said. He said, Tommy is extraordinarily appreciative of everything that happened during his New England career. And he's more than happy that he's moved on because it was pretty obvious that the Patriot regime felt it was time for him to move on. Brady Sr. told Tom Curran, and frankly, it may have well been perfect for Bellicheck to move on from him. On the other hand, I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are pretty happy that the decision they made in Foxborough. They didn't want to afford him and didn't want to afford him or didn't want to keep him when his last contract came up.
Okay. So let me attack a couple of points there, okay?
Okay. Go ahead, Ross. The floor is yours. Firstly,
the one time Tom Brady comes and asks for a pay raise is when we have no money. So item number one. Number two, the one time he goes after us for players and playmakers on the offense, we have no money. Next part. He came off a season where he lost a Super Bowl to a pick six. Okay, let's cover that before he left. Okay, so yes, he wanted more money. We wanted to keep him, but we couldn't do it. We can't make magic money come out of nowhere. How many guys would we have to cut to make sure Tom Brady was happy? Please tell me, because we would have lost half of our defense. Am I correct?
That's true. No, you're probably right about that.
We would have had to. We would have had to have done. We would have had to dump a lot of salaries and a lot of talent to get that 50 million.
Yep.
No, I know it is, but it would have we would have probably had to dump a lot of people to get it down to like where it would need to be.
Yeah, and off camera, me and Bobby have talked about it. Okay, this was something in Tom Brady's mind for a couple of years. Okay, these kind of deals do not happen overnight. Brady was ready to leave right after that Philly Super Bowl. No one can tell me otherwise. There was a plan in motion. And albeit, he's got a couple of years left in the league. What did he want to do? Wait 2 years during a rebuild? Or go to a stacked team where all they really needed was a quarterback? I'll give credit to Tom Brady as being one of the greatest of all time, but I'm not going to give him credit for going to a stacked team that was only waiting for a quarterback to take the reins.
He also brought Gronk and AB for nothing. So that helps too.
Don't bring up Gronk, because Gronk shafted us in the worst way possible. We're not going to go into details on the Gronk situation, but if anyone wants to go and read about Gronkowski and how he left the Patriots, again,
I know that.
I will clap. I will cheer for Brady at the end of the game, but Gronk gets nothing from me. Gronk will not get a thing from me.
I think Gronk. The major reason why I think a lot of Pats Nation has some bad feelings towards Gronkowski is the way he left. The way he left, he made it sound like he was leaving for good, and just he was done. You know, he made it sound like his body had shut down on him and he was done. And I think in reality, what he was really doing is just going to take that year off. Just going to take the year off, recover a little bit, and then, you know, when his body felt good, enough, and he knew it would, he went back with Brett. Like,
I have no issue with
that. Yeah, again.
But he also didn't. But the major part about it is he left the Pats hanging for a long time about if he was gonna retire or not. Like if he knew he was gonna retire, he should have just told him, "Yeah, I'm retiring. I'm done."
They owe him like $50 million.
Okay,
they owe him a lot of money.
Yes, but for that $50 million, we would have lost half of our special teams and half of our defense.
I get it.
Tom Brady and leave him with weapons. And let's put it this way: to leave him with weapons that were not good enough to get him through a Eagles Super Bowl. So we would have had a worse defense and a worse offense to pay.
Threw 500 yards. And Belichick couldn't stop Nick Foles.
500 yards and a pick six for a touchdown.
The pick six,
500 yards.
The pick six is what ultimately got him. It's funny though. It's funny that one mistake. It's funny that
Nick Foles.
I know. But see, that's funny though. It's literally that one mistake.
True.
That one mistake, that pick six, was the game-changing moment. You know what I mean? Like that pick six is what ultimately got him.
Yeah. And guys, I have to run, but I'm gonna make my last point really quick.
Sure.
Before I go, Alex Guerrero sold concussion water. So one, his opinion is invalid in the NFL and in any areas. If you're that type of charlatan, I don't want to hear from you. And the fact that ESPN and all these other news outlets has ran with it is the reason why I don't watch network sports anymore. They're all a bunch of headline hunters, and that's it. Next part, Tom Brady Sr. riding the
headline hunters and snake oil salesmen.
I can't argue with the media.
I will never respect anything that comes out of Alex Guerrero, and I'll never respect anything out of TB12 camp, because TB12 is not the same quarterback as Tom Brady. The TB12 that we know now is a diva. Okay? Number one, he's earned that right. I'm not even going to deny that. But at the end of the day, he could have came out and said these things himself, but instead he sends out Guerrero.
That's true.
He sends out Dad to say these things that he couldn't say to our faces. And Tom Brady Sr., I'm sorry, but you have other than you had the opportunity to be the seed for Tom Brady, you have no experience in football. You have no freaking clue what you're talking about. You were not in those meetings. You were not with Bill Belichick when he had conversations with Tom Brady. And last but not least, Bill Belichick has always coached Tom Brady in a way to make him as potent as possible. And what does Brady do? He plays the best with a chip on his shoulder. He has always been that way. Why are you going to compliment a guy over and over again to make him play worse? If you consistently keep a chip on that shoulder, Tom Brady has been absolutely great.
Well, the best example of him putting a chip on the shoulder is he drafted Garoppolo like right in Brady's face, and it lit that fire again. He won a Super Bowl again because he was so mad that they drafted Garoppolo.
And the last thing I will say, okay, I'm sorry, guys, but the last thing I will say is that Tom Brady, at the end of the day, the things that made him angry at Belichick also made him a better player in the short term and the long term. Now,
that's true.
My last opinion on this whole Bill Belichick, Tom Brady saga, let's be honest, that ESPN has been moist. Completely moist.
Everybody is.
Coaches do not compare to players. The reason that Bill Belichick has a lesser extent to the overall success of the Patriots is because at the end of the day, players play. Okay?
True.
Players make the calls on the field. Players make the job happen. Bill Belichick's job is only there to put them in a chance to succeed.
To develop Belichick's game planning and the Belichick's so it's always been a combination of the two, because Belichick's game planning and putting, development of the game plan and how to attack teams, and then he just lets Tom's maniacal attitude about winning just take over, like his attitude about winning and his knowledge of the game. Belichick gave him a general idea of how he wants to attack things, and it was a combination of the two, and I mean like with the two of them together were just crazy. What they were able to accomplish together was nuts.
Can I just say that Tom Brady Sr. didn't really say anything that bad? All he said was that Tom Brady felt vindication from winning a Super Bowl without Bill Belichick. That's all he really said.
But you have to look at Tom Brady Sr.'s body of comments throughout the last few years. So again,
there was some spite there. I get it.
Yeah, no, there's that. I think that's JD. I think you just hit it on the head. there's a lot of like spite behind Tom Brady
sure.
Sr. when it comes to like talking about the Patriots situation.
Anyone who throws shade at his son, which I love him for that. He's a good father.
Again,
He's just like, screw you. They're crap. You know, I love that.
But his knowledge on the sport of football.
Oh, that's true.
And how things are managed from the background is Bill Belichick did whatever he had to do to keep Tom Brady competitive. And after 20 years, that's going to push them apart. That was not going to make them closer. You know, it's a coach's job to not be the good guy.
I don't know if Bill's the same coach without Tom, though. I just don't know if he is. Like, I compare it to Greg Popovich and Tim Duncan.
Well, how are you going to have the same thing? Tom Brady was an on-field coach. Let's be honest.
He was.
He was a general on the field. Like every the guy you put like he was a coach in pads.
I think that if Belichick would have begged Tom Brady to stay, sign a cheap deal, I think he would have. I do.
Tom Brady was done with taking deals. This Tampa Bay move.
That's probably true.
JD, I think no matter.
I think Tom was done with them.
I think no matter how much begging he did, he wanted the recognition, the money that he wanted. He wanted
given him that recognition before, maybe like years prior. Like maybe you're right. There's something that could have been done that summer. Yeah. But like, what about the 3-4 summers before that? You know what I mean? Like,
well, you know what happened to that? We brought in all the players he wanted. Did Antonio Brown do well for us?
For a little bit, for like 2 games, and then he got like investigated for beating up a woman, I guess, or something.
Yeah. Let's be honest. If we gave Tom Brady all that he wanted, instead of this being a 2-season rebuild, it would have been a 4 because we were out of money, we were out of talent. When you'd have 7
Super Bowls instead of 6.
One of our leading pass guys and receivers for Tom Brady, going into that season, was Gunnar Olszewski.
Okay, maybe you wouldn't have had 7 Super Bowls. Okay, maybe you're right.
Let's be frank. If we gave Tom Brady what he wanted, we would have no defense, and
you're right.
Special teams would have been in tatters.
I just think that Brady is a great player, and I think that Belichick, I think that for a while Belichick's like, I've made you and stuff, and I think that Belichick is eating those words now.
No, Bill Belichick, at the end of the day, everyone wants to put this personality on Bill Belichick. He doesn't have one. He's an old man that loves football, and he doesn't care about the press. He doesn't care about Tom Brady's feelings. He doesn't care. What he wants to do is win football games. And the thing is, when you're that type of person, they're not going to like you. Tom Brady for 20 years had to deal with that. And don't get me wrong, this is not an organization set up for individuals. This is an organization built on team play. If we gave everything up for Tom Brady, we would have gone against our complete identity as a football club.
But what if he does play till 50 and wins 2 more Super Bowls?
Then good for him. Here's the thing. I don't mind the fact he's on another team playing. What I have a problem with is the fact that at the end of the day, he is bashing the coach that gave him his start over Bledsoe, who was paid $100 million.
But you're right. That's true. But the next year, you're right.
He went against everyone and put Tom in there.
That's true.
The thing is, no matter what your feelings are, Bill Belichick will only do what's best for the football club in general. Not one player, not one individual. How many high-priced talent have we let walk because it would have been detrimental for the team as a whole? And Tom Brady got to that point. Guys, I got to go. I love you all. Thank you for all the great comments, guys. Thank you for listening to my angry old man ranting. And Patriots fans, keep your head up. This is going to be a tough season, but let's hope Mac Jones gets some great experience and McDaniels learns how to call a game.
For hanging out, Ross.
See you later, Ross. Now
sorry I ranted too hard.
Get off my show, you old man.
Bye, buddy. And thank you, JD.
See you later, bud. Take it easy.
Good discussion, bro. It was a good time. The last thing I would want to say, actually, We have a lot of last thing I want to say about just touching on that is that I think that Guerrero's comments, Guerrero.
Listen, let's just be clear. They're all looking for vengeance. They all want to prove. They all want to come into Foxborough and beat the ever-living brakes off of Bill Bell. They're all coming in with a chip. Everyone, Brady Sr., Brady, Guerrero, they're all coming in with a chip on their shoulder, looking to stomp this team out.
There is something to Guerrero's method, okay? Like you guys called him, you joked around that he's a snake oil salesman. I think it's less that he's a snake oil salesman. It's that he's selling something that everyone really kind of already knows. It's like massage therapy is really important, basically, and he's selling basically like a brand of massage therapy. Basically, he's like, all right, check out this massage therapy. It's really good, and if you use these bands, it's great. And they're trying to front and pretend that that's like the reason Tom Brady
doing like inventive and all this.
Yeah, well, in some ways it is, because it's like a little bit more aggressive, but at the same time, it's more just like Tom Brady's a really amazing athlete, and his, that's really, I mean, that's what
he's just a freak. So. He's just a freak athlete.
Yeah,
with how he handles his body, how he handles his routine, all of that. I 1000% agree.
Right. So I think it's not necessarily that he's a snake oil salesman, but I agree that he's not necessarily what he says he is. He's not like a doctor or anything like that. I totally am with you on that, 100%.
But let's be honest. I mean, the guy looks like he's like 34, 36 years old.
So there's got to be something to what they're saying. It's not just completely ridiculous.
Like almost 10 years younger than he really is. The dude is in ridiculous shape.
Looks amazing. Both of them. I mean, honestly, both of them do. Guerrero is old, looks like he's relatively young, and Brady looks amazing for his age. So, yeah, that's the thing.
But see, Brady understands what they're doing. Brady gets it though. He understands. If I physically and mentally take care of myself, I can play for a long time.
Yes. And in the mental game, that just comes with that comes naturally to him already. Like he plays chess, not checkers with everybody. And the physical game is what he's really worried about, because his body is deteriorating no matter what he wants to do about it. That's just life. Like everyone, after like 31, your body just starts to slowly break down. That's literally a fact of life. So he's fighting father time, and he's winning so far.